Hey guys, Dangerous here. I just wanted to take a minute and show you my full DIY setup now that I got everything finished. Let's take a look. This is my new tarp. It measures, basically it's an 11-foot ridge line by 8 foot, 4 foot on each side. It's roughly modeled after the tadpole, which as you guys know is probably one of my most favorite tarps. Only this one I made with doors on one end. I've noticed several times that it's kind of nice to be able to tuck your tarp, or I'm sorry, your hammock all the way up in the back corner where the doors are, shut right here, and then that gives me a lot of extra coverage over the foot end here. So in this setup, I've just got the doors staked down to the ground. You can see right there going to one stake. They're open for a little bit of ventilation, but it makes a nice little vestibule area. I can keep my pack or some other stuff. You can see my hammock in there. On this tarp, I used 1/2-inch BCDs and some mini S-beaners to attach to a lash it guy line with just Prusix, using a continuous ridge line so that I can center it over the hammock easier. Coming up to the tree, we've just got a Dutch hook spliced onto the ridge line, and all the way down here at the other end is one of the new fleas. I just use these again on a Prusik. It's spliced onto a Prusik on my ridge line so I can move it. And these are super easy to adjust and way better than the flies in my opinion because they let go a lot easier. The shape of this wing, I don't know if you guys can see that, lets go of the line a lot easier when I'm ready to release. So, and then same construction down here, BCD, micro S-beaner, Prusik, spliced onto a spliced Prusik onto the continuous ridge line. Alright, for the corners, I did line lock 3s. I'm using Lawson's glow wire. Comes all the way down to a piece of shock cord that's just attached, and I've got a bowline tied in there for a loop. Comes down to my stake. What's really nice about this is that these can be adjusted one-handed and loosened one-handed, and since all the adjustments here at the corner, I can do that under the tarp if I have to set up in the rain. So underneath here, we're going to take a closer look at the hammock. Give me a second to get that all set up. Hey, one more quick note about the tarp before I move on. This was made with 1.1 Sil Nylon seconds from DIY Gear Supply. It's the gray color and it's a little bit heavier. This tarp, basically tadpole size with doors, all the lines and everything is configured, is coming in at just a little over 20 ounces. So I'm not sure what the actual fabric weight is, but it feels good and solid, and it's definitely waterproof. I've already tested it. And then just one last thing, this is how I like to gather up my tarps instead of using snake skins. I've never really been a big fan. I just take a piece of shock cord, tie a knot on one end, put it on a cord lock, and then run that around the tarp and run the free end of the shock cord back through the cord lock, and it just holds it. You know, so when I'm ready to deploy the tarp, I can just pull that and the tarp will come all the way out. So just want to show you guys that. Something that I've been doing. I think it's pretty simple, and it's a lot easier than making snake skins. So alright, let's move on to the hammock. So this is my hammock. Some of you guys have seen this. I call it the Dangerous Bird because it's a tribute hammock to Papa Smurf's Danger Bird. It is a 10.5 foot double layer made from 1.0 unfinished, or pure finish, I'm sorry, coyote ripstop nylon. So it's 2-layer. I've got a few extra little doodads on here. I've got hoods at each corner. I've got pack hooks attached on here that will hook onto my underquilt suspension if I need it. This right now I've got it in the configuration for the bug net. I've also got a solid coyote brown Argon 67 top cover that runs along the same zipper track, and we'll replace the top cover. Down here at this corner you can just see I've got my underquilt clipped onto my foot end tie out, which is just a piece of shock cord going down to a piece of zinget to a stake. For suspension, I'm just using standard whoopee slings. I still like whoopies. I think they're really easy and adjustable, and they, I don't know, they just work for me, so I'm not really in any interest to change. Alright, and the last part of my suspension here is just some 6-foot tree straps that I made. These are actually cargo straps from Walmart, and a soda loop on one end, and I'm just using a DIY arrow shaft toggle that my whoopies, attach onto. So let's see, down here for the hammock, this was one of the trickier parts if any of you guys followed some of my threads. This zipper track actually has 8 zippers on it. So there's one here, one down here. So when the net or the cover are fully deployed, I have 2 zippers that I can spread apart kind of in a normal entry method and get in. So it is also, let's see, this net is sewn in at this end and zippered at that end. So let's see if we can pull this back. Get around this corner here. And then up here at this end, this is where my top cover is, my winter cover. This is a full-length winter cover made from Coyote Brown argon from Dutch, the Argon 67. And so here's one zipper for the bug net, and on this side it's way up in there. You see it in there? I can get a hold of it. There we go. So the bug net unzips all the way back to this side, which is extremely hard to do one-handed. So we can pull that off. I'll just toss it out of the way for right now. But you can see we just kind of have an open top hammock now. You do or don't have to use the tie outs. Just for right now, because it's a little windy, I'm using the tie outs, or else this thing would be all over the place. We'll get to the quilts here in just a second. But there's a small argon stuff sack under this hood. Pull this out, argon top cover comes out. And I've used this winter, and it actually works really well for blocking the wind. It's nice and breathable, and it's a good color actually, and even in the daytime lets a good bit of light through, so it doesn't totally black out the inside of the hammock. And then you can see same kind of thing. This just zips right along that same track, and let me show you guys what that looks like fully deployed. Alright, and here she is with the winter cover all zipped up. So as you can see, that closes up really nice. It's a good color match. I like the way it looks, but it's extra nice when it's windy and cold and you're inside there. And surprisingly, it does add quite an extra bit of warmth. So it's looking really loose right now just because I've got a pretty good breeze blowing around on me. So, alright, and then just like with the net, I've got a dual zipper entrance here on this side so that I can get in. And those will zip all the way to the head and the foot end. Alright, now finally getting on to the last part, which is going to be my underquilts. These are both Argon 67 fabric with Climate Shield Apex. It's 5.0 Apex. So just loosely a 3-season quilt. This is the head end. You can see the inside there. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I've got draft collars sewn in. This is a full-length underquilt. It measures 70 inches by 45 inches, and it was differentially cut in 2 different dimensions, so it fits extremely well. I've also got a full-length channel suspension running all the way down through the sides, as well as another set of shock cord just tied off here at the corners that comes up to the head end. That helps keep everything from kind of doing that accordion effect as you get in and out. And one other thing I did on this underquilt was I attached loops here that correspond with my head and foot tie-out. And that just keeps the underquilt in place and nice and snug. So you can see here on the foot end just how well it fits. You know, and I don't even have anybody in there, but when I get in it, it just tightens up even better. So, and same thing on this end, draft collars and dual suspension. You know, one that runs the full length and the other that just comes up to the end whipping. And then you can see these small pack hooks that I've attached here can attach to this if I need the extra stability, but most times I find that I don't. And then the last thing is this top quilt, which I've done another thread on. Let me get it out here and get it laid out so you guys can see it. Alright, so here's my top quilt, and this is my pretty much full-time top quilt. It's again Argon 67 in Coyote brown, and then a layer of 5-ounce Climate Shield Apex. In this configuration, you can see that I've got a snap up here at the neck, and I've also got a draw cord in the center of that so that I can really cinch that up around my shoulders if I need to. Coming down, this is how I chose to put mine together, and it works really well for me. This is a plastic zipper. I don't remember the exact length, but I would say that it's probably around 15-20 inches. And that's how I close up my foot box. I haven't had any problems with this zipper pull. I did, however, take a file to it. There's just a real soft edge kind of right here that I smoothed up just to make sure that I didn't have any problems with that. But so far I haven't seen any damage or anything in the hammock, so I'm not too worried about it. And then this comes down to a cinch closure here at the foot end, and then this extra bit, and I can't remember who on the forum said it, but there's been times that I've taken this tail and tied it up to the ridge line of my hammock, which keeps the foot end, or the foot box of my top quilt, from falling out of the hammock when you're not actually in the quilt. So let me show you what this thing looks like all opened up. Okay, so here it is all opened up. Like I said, again, it's just one single layer of Climate Shield Apex 5.0. But one thing that I did that I'm super happy about is the addition of this extra flap of material down here at the foot box. Now you can see this is a full-size quilt. It measures 78 by 45 at the top, and it's like 38 down here at the bottom is what it ended up being. But this extra flap is just a loose flap of material. But what it allows me to do is in the summertime, when I don't want the quilt just fully, cinched up around me, I just want to pull it over the top of me, I can actually take my feet and just kind of slide along the quilt, and my feet will hit that little foot box. I call that the summer foot box. And that just helps keep the quilt over the top of me. Since a lot of these, slick fabrics tend to slide around a lot, that has worked out really well. Just to kind of slide my foot down, hook the end of the top quilt, pull it over the top of me, just so I can keep it in place without having to do a whole lot of fidgeting around. So that's it for my video. That's my full DIY setup, hammock, tarp, top quilt, and under quilt. Thanks for watching.